Hey everyone, welcome back to step 4 in the behavior change process. I hope you're excited. I even got myself a haircut for this one and the previous video. I just like these next two steps, 4 and 5, learning to evaluate and dealing with relapse. Those are like exciting topics. You're going to realize this is like something I need to rewatch. This is the secret to life success. This is just good stuff that you're going to need to just process for some time, because I realize my whole life I've been just not doing this the right way. So really, I don't believe in a lot of magic bullets, but this is something that really does make a difference. So pay attention here. Don't just kind of fall asleep and phase off here. This is good stuff. So let's talk about 3 groups of people when we evaluate. The first group doesn't do any evaluation. What happens to them? Well, they kind of just go wherever life leads them. Can be good, can be bad, who knows? It can just be whatever life leads to them. They don't know where they're going, or they don't know where they're not going, because they're not evaluating anything. So then the second group is the way I lived most of my life, is I'd evaluate based on what I did wrong. After every performance, football game, whatever test, the only thing I saw was my failures. When I got back from a test, I focused the whole time on, man, I missed these couple questions. Or after any sports competition, I was miserable because all I thought about was, I missed these shots. I mean, I usually was like a 90% shooter. Or in tennis, I was 90% most of the time. I'm just kidding. Okay, I wasn't that good. But I always focused on what I was doing wrong. So I did evaluate, but I evaluated on all the things I was doing wrong. Okay? And then the third group evaluates, but they evaluate and they focus on what they're doing well. So this is like the secret sauce. This is point, the number one builder of confidence is previous success. So there we go. You want to know how to build your confidence? We got it right there. This is the answer, is to see your previous success. So you've got to evaluate so you can see something, and you've also got to evaluate the right things. Because if you continually see your previous failures, that's building in exactly the way this builds your confidence. If you're constantly seeing your previous failures, it's continually shrinking your confidence. So if you can continually evaluate and evaluate the right things, you'll build more confidence. That confidence will build your fire to keep pushing forward and persevere in trying to reach your goals, to whatever they might be. So eventually you can get to that outcome you're looking for. It gives you motivation because you see you're being successful. That's the number one builder of confidence. That is something to keep in your mind. Okay, the second thing is, how do we do that? One of the greatest lessons I learned was from Coach Craig Manning. He's a sports psychologist. He coaches college athletes, business professionals, Olympic athletes. Awesome guy, really motivating for me. I sat through 2 sports psychology classes. I didn't even get a grade. I just sat through them because they were just amazing, and they just made my mind explode every time because it was just awesome. So what I learned from him is that the way we evaluate is we need to put at the end of our evaluation period, whatever that is, 3 positive things about our performance and 1, not one thing we did wrong, but one thing we want to do better. So we're not thinking of in terms I failed, we just have something we want to do better. So you're immediately reinforcing the positive things. We did this thing, this thing, this thing well, and there's one thing I want to do better. So we're training our mind to focus on the positive things. We're not just being like everything's all peachy and rosy out there. We're looking at specific things that we did throughout the week or throughout the day that were successful. We did them right. We were progressing. We at least thought about our plan. That's a successful thing. So you put 3 things you did positive, 1 thing that you can do better. And that's how you're going to evaluate yourself, preferably every day, so you can train yourself to think that way, write in some type of a journal that you have, or maybe every day and at the end of every week. That's what I do. Every day and at the end of every week, you evaluate yourself. You're training yourself to see the things that you're doing well, because that builds the fire in you. It trains you to think positively. It's not just to go out there and be happy. It's a specific plan you have to evaluate yourself, to think, to build your confidence. It's a confidence building plan. And the reason why it works is because you can look back and you can see written down your previous successes. If all you do is say, how did I fail this week? You can erase that word and put failure, and then that will shrink your confidence. And that's what happens to most people. And that's why they stop doing whatever New Year's resolutions they have. So that's like, boom, that's the secret sauce right there. There you go. Congratulations, you got it. Okay, the next thing we need to think about is that growth, I'm just going to put an arrow there. Growth is accelerated when we learn from what we do well. So we definitely need to be keeping track of things we can do better, for sure. But that growth, because of our confidence, because of the fire that's building, if we learn from what we do well, our growth is going to be accelerated. So this isn't just like a happy thought that you need to be kind of be motivated right now. This is something, if you can continually do this, you can learn to think positively, and that will allow your growth to be accelerated much faster than what you'd do if you're just thinking all day about what you're doing wrong. Okay, so our last little thought would be, you might need to, you're evaluating yourself every week, every night, depends on your behavior, but you might need to tweak your plan or your vision, or you might need to go back and do step 2 and evaluate things again. But based on this, you are going to see, after you evaluate, you're going to see, what do I need to do? What do I need to keep doing? If this week was just blowing everything out of the water, maybe I need to stretch myself a little bit more. I can see I'm really being successful. Let's stretch myself a little bit more. Or maybe all I did was I thought about it every day. You know what? That's awesome. But you didn't study for those 3 extra hours you were planning to do in your plan. And so you say, you know what? At least I thought about it every day. And that's a step in the right direction. So you really are making progress by thinking about it. But maybe you don't change your plan or your vision. You just say, you know what? I'm going to go for it another week. And I'm going to keep trying. And this week I'll have the same plan. And I'll try to make progress on that. Or maybe 3 hours is too much to add into your plan. So you realize, you know what? I'm just going to try something small. Maybe I'll just try 1 hour on Monday. And if I can do that, boom. For you, that might be a success. Or maybe 3 hours is too easy and you need to stretch it a little bit more. What you're trying to do with this evaluation process is you want to train yourself to see your successes and modify your plan and your vision accordingly so that you can learn to be successful by thinking the right way. If you can think the right way through this process, you're not going to give up. You're going to keep going. And that's the key to this whole thing. You got to just keep this process going, because a behavior change is never really over. You should, if you really want to be high performing, you're continually improving and working on things until you can get to the highest level at whatever you're trying to achieve. So good luck. Take this one, rewatch it, think about these things, practice it, and you'll find that you really can change the way you think about whatever behavior you're trying to change. Good luck. Have fun.